What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the podcast. So we know one of the things that separates rich people from poor people is how they think, their mindsets, that affects how they move through the world. Because your mind is the lens through which you see everything. It's the computer program that renders the universe. And so if your mindset, if that is the windshield through which we see the world, if it's cracked and scuzzy, it's going to slow down the vehicle, right? You can only drive your car so quickly towards your destination when you have a cracked or a broken windshield. If we can get that nice and cleaned and like scrubbed off, then we're going to have clear visibility for days, and we're going to be able to gun it, and we're going to be able to fly towards our goals. So one of the things that I found that has helped me tremendously on my journey of building wealth, and again, when I talk about wealth, I'm not just talking about monetary wealth. I'm talking about like the time wealth that you have to spend it with who you want, where you want, right? The relationship wealth, the health wealth. There's so many different variations of wealth, but this one idea that I call the gratitude spiral pays massive dividends across all areas of your life. Now, we know gratitude is like this, almost like a buzzword. I a couple years ago, I was sitting down with a friend because everybody knows about doing gratitude journaling and like every morning write down 3 things that you're grateful for. And I did this for a number of years. And there came a point when I found I was just going through the motions. I was writing down things that I was grateful for every morning. I'd fill my journal, I'd check the box. And it became an exercise to check the box rather than an exercise where I really deeply connected with gratitude. And so my buddy Austin and I, we were doing a podcast back then called Brain Dump. And one day I was just like, gratitude has become like this bastardization that we proxy for productivity, where it's just I do it so I can check a box, not because I actually feel grateful. And that defeats the purpose. It defeats the entire purpose of gratitude in the first place, which is, studies show that when you feel grateful, that you have elevated levels of productivity, elevated levels of creativity, elevated levels of just general well-being and fulfillment. But like if you're just checking the box and saying, I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for that, but you don't actually connect it to feelings, then it doesn't do you any good. And so I got away from gratitude for a long time. And it was only, a couple years ago that I started to like re-engage with gratitude, but trying to find a way that it actually stuck and was useful for me. And what I stumbled on was this idea called the gratitude spiral. And this was actually quite impactful for me. And so I want to share it with you and hope that it can have the same impact for you. And it's a very simple idea, which is you sit and you express gratitude for small things around you in that moment. And then you just keep spiraling deeper and deeper and deeper into the second and third and the fourth order effects of that gratitude. For instance, let's do it right now. Let's say we were sitting right here. In this moment, I could say, you know what? I'm really grateful for the sun. It's shining on me. It feels like 85 degrees out here. And for the last 7 months, it's in Minnesota. It's cold. So this is the first time that we really get the sun, and I feel it on my skin. I'm getting the vitamin D. And man, you know what I'm really grateful for is that my skin is able to absorb vitamin D, that my body can actually do something with that, because some people can't, right? And I'm grateful that my body is this actually pretty awesome thing that can do so many incredible things. But one of the things I'm really grateful for is that my body, I just went to the gym a little bit ago. I had no pain. I felt like a badass. I'm nearly 41 years old. I'm moving weights and I can do things that I was doing when I was 20 years old. And that's freaking cool. And that makes me grateful for yesterday. I was out for a walk with Jamie, and as we were sitting there waiting for the elevator, I looked over and she was doing a deep primal squat, like trying to work on hip flexion. And she's like, I'm losing a little bit of my hip flexion, and I need to work on this. And I was grateful for the fact that I have a partner who cares about that stuff. And so then I did a primal squat and I started working on it. I'm grateful to have somebody in my life that inspires me to continue working on the things that I want to get better at. And then, we went for a walk and we went to the park because yesterday was also a really beautiful day. And we sat in the hammock. I got to read a book called Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. I'd never read that before. And so I'm so grateful that I got to discover that book right now in this moment in my life, because there's some ideas in there that were really, really helpful. So as I was sitting there in that hammock, looking up at the trees and the green leaves and reading my book and just like breathing in the air, it's like, man, life is fucking good. Like you don't need money. You don't need recognition. You don't need you don't need anything to enjoy that stuff. You just need to like be present with what you have. Right. So that's a gratitude spiral, right? It took me less than, I don't know how long that probably took. I probably rambled. When you're doing it in your mind, you could just like rapid fire through this stuff. But the idea is that you start where you are And then you just think of like, okay, what's the next domino of gratitude that kind of knocks over? And you just keep going. You go boom, 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 boom. Next thing you know, I have like 10 things that I'm grateful for. And each one of those is like a particular memory or event or something that I connect to. And like, maybe at first it's like, I'm just going through the motions, you know? Maybe at first it's like, yeah, what am I grateful for? Oh, I'm grateful for this Monster Energy drink because it's something next to me. But then as you go deeper and you start looking at the next and the next and the next, you eventually like genuinely stop going through the motions and you genuinely start to find gratitude. It's really cool. And you can do it at any point. Like that's the other really cool thing. Like you can do like gratitude journaling feels like this really official thing. I do it once a day. I sit down and I write it down. And you know, there's a barrier to entry for a lot of people, which is like, I don't like to write. I'm not a good writer. But hell, you can just stop right now at the end of this podcast, close your eyes and just spend 30 seconds to, 2 minutes and just do a gratitude spiral. Get out of control with it. Like go wild and then pop out of it and you're going to be in a way better mood. I promise you, you're going to tackle the next thing that you have in front of you with so much more gusto because you're going to feel energized. You're going to feel so grateful. And at the end of the day, like life is good when you're grateful for it, but it doesn't matter how great your external circumstances are. If you can't find gratitude for what you have, you're always wanting more, right? And so the happiest, most fulfilled person isn't the one who has the most. It's the man who needs the least. It's the man who's content with what he has. So take that, run with it, go spiral out of control. I'll see you guys in the next episode.